and welcome to the GreatTipOff.com. Here we are, special edition of the Country Championships as we head to round week on day one of the championships. And, well, what better way to do it? We're going to pivot from the Group 1 racing and we're going to go to the racing as close to the heart of these two gentlemen. Mick Wallace from Sky Racing. Good afternoon. Of course, it is Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. How are you going?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Gano. Good to be joining you. It's my favourite time of the year, Country Championships. We've enjoyed each and every heat out in all various parts of New South Wales, and we've got our final field now, and we're going to have a look at each and every runner and see if we can land on the winner.
Can't wait. And we thought, Mick, we may as well get one of the experts. You are the best in the West, but we can call Mitch the best of the rest, maybe. Mitch Lloyd from Patriot Bloodstock. No better man to call on than you to give us some advice and steer us in the direction of a winner for this Country Championships. How are you going?
Good, thanks, Gano. Good to see you, Mick. Yeah, this is our grand final day for me, Gano. I do majority of my gambling and spend a lot of my time focused on country racing in New South Wales. So not only for the participants, but for the people that support it either via punting or horse ownership. This is grand final day for us for sure.
Good stuff. Righto, I'll do my bit, which is really simple. Track update. Rail is in the true position. Heavy 8. I think we'll get to a 5. We'll probably get the better side of a 5, fellas, the way it's warming up. Managed to get to 27, 28 degrees today, which is kind of scary because it never looked likely, and then by 5 o'clock it was the hottest part of the day. So I suspect we'll get back to a soft 5. Rail true. Probably only lanes 4 and beyond. Lanes 1, 2, 3, slightly inferior. That's about all you get from me here. I'll steer the ship because you guys know these horses far better than I. Let's kick off with Don Stefano around the $221 mark for Mitch Stapleford, Dean Murphy. Long odds, Mick Wallace.
Yeah, look, he's a big price. I think most of us know him more as a stayer trained by Dean Murphy. And he was terrific at Orange in the Central Districts Racing Association Country Championships. He was never on the track, and he just kept on finding the line. The wetter, the better for him.
Mitchie?
Yeah, I think he's just a stayer that sprinted well first up. He's dramatically outgraded here, and his SP price is going to suggest that.
Good name, this McKeon. Maybe named after a swimmer. I wonder if they need it wet. Kerry McAvoy, Joseph Burgess, around the $130 mark. Mitch?
Yeah, his price suggests. Her price suggests that she's outgraded. I've got a couple of rules in this race, Gano. I've said it years gone by when we've done this podcast. If they race in between their heat and they fail, I put a pen through them on the final. It's really hard to bounce back. The classy ones can do it, but when they're going to sort of SP at 100 to 1, that's just a rule that I stick by. Good luck to Joe Burgess, good young trainer and horseman in the industry, but I just can't have her.
Mick?
Yeah, it's come up with the inside gate. Recent form probably not strong enough. I'm happy to steer around her.
Beautiful. Let's go to Bjorn Ironside, well named. Air Bjorn Baker, absolutely low flying. Can this horse be competitive, Mick?
Look, the draw probably doesn't help his cause. I think he's a nice up-and-coming horse. He's had the 4 wins from 18 career starts. Was beaten a long way by Know Thyself last time out there at Scone, so a win would surprise.
Gano, I'm expecting no scratchings, and I'm going to fast-track our broadcast this afternoon, and I'm just not going to give him a hope. How does that sound?
Sounds good. Bjorn inside, light infantry, plenitude. We're going to absolutely buzzle those. Craving Magic. And we're going to go straight down to Sumo Fish. Dylan Gibbons, Wayne Wilkes, Mitch.
Every time Wayne Wilkes brings a horse to the highway, I hear some very smart people. Ron Duffersy's one of them. Always comments on how astute he is. I know back in the day he done a lot of training for Nathan Tinkler. And I know he's very well respected in the industry. Listen, this boy is going to go around at $71. He raced Honest the other day in between his heat and the final. I just can't have him from a wide barrier where he's going to SP, $80. He's just not one-on-one. And I wish, on the comeback trail, I wish Dylan Gibbons all the best.
I do think he's over the odds, but he's yet to win past 1,250 metres, and he did have the advantage of the Port Macquarie Country Championships being run over the 6 furlongs. I thought the latest run on the Kenzo 1400 was okay. Chase came okay to be beaten 2.5 lengths, but I think there's others with stronger claims.
Rogue Mullen, Clayton Gallagher, Brett Robb. Draws well, barrier 3, Mick.
Yeah, look, I'd be really surprised if Rouge Mullen was able to step up and make the grade here. It was a brave effort behind the stablemate Gallant Star out there at Canamble last time out, but I couldn't find a spot in the numbers.
The camp's flying. They won the Wellington Boot on Monday. They've got the favourite in this race. Fantastic ownership group. Mick and I know them quite well. Mick Nestor is almost like an uncle to me. I wish him all the best. I wish his horse could run well. I just can't see it happening. 2 starts ago, they put the stable apprentice on Tilly McCarroll and got a result in a benchmark 58 at Dubbo. That's just not going to be good enough for a race of this grade, but I wish the camp and all my mates well.
Apologies to the connections of Rouge Mullen there. We'll be called Rouge Mullen from now on. Hopefully gets the job done. And the race caller, Ben Hall, no doubt he won't have an issue with that there, Mitch.
No, like it. There's always a good story around the country championships, whether it's a jockey or, last year it was Kayla, right? But I don't personally know Ben Hall, but he's from the Darling Downs area. I think he took an opportunity to call some, studio stuff during COVID for Sky and then relocated down into New South Wales. And you flick the races on anytime he's calling them, and it's a profession. It's such a professional performance. He's probably an unsung hero. I wouldn't know if he was black, blue, pink, or indifferent if he walked past me, Ben Hall. But it's such a professional performance that he delivers day in, day out. We probably take it for granted, to be honest. So congratulations to Ben Hall. I hope he calls well. I hope he has a great day out in the big smoke.
Good stuff.
Yeah, he's a terrific fella, Ben. I have a chat to him at the races all of the time. And one thing I know for sure, he's very excited about calling the Country Championships Final. He's recently had the opportunity to call a few Canterbury meetings and what have you, and he'll do a great job.
Beautiful. Good luck, Ben. Know that you will nail it on the big stage. Sunshine, Tommy Berry, Keith Dryden, Libby Snowden. Just about $51 here, Mick. Give his horse any chance?
Yeah, got back, hit the line strong there at Nowra to win, defeating Cable Express and Sass and Cheek, and then went around in the National Sprint at Canberra last time out, got back and was only beaten 2.5 lengths despite finishing 10th there behind Zuatica. That was a pretty deep race. With the right run in transit, can certainly feature.
Gano, I didn't want to come on here and make excuses for too many of the roughies, but she's the one I want to make a case for. I think you could run the Nowra heat a few times and get a few different winners, don't get me wrong, but she was found by some smarties down there on the tip. And I talked before about that in-between run. If they've got to have one, it's got to be a good one. And she got beat, let's just say 2.5 lengths in the national sprint, the time on a national sprint at Canberra. Like, that's good enough form for a race like this. If there's a horse that's $50 plus, she's the one. Keith and Libby, they know how to get the job done. Yeah, she's the best roughie for mine.
Beautiful. Love that. Nice little push. Barandana. Around the $50 marker, a horse that I think if you go back to 2 preparations or 3 preparations ago, has figures that can be competitive enough to sort of run top 4 here. Best figure was first up. Mitch needs to recapture that. Was failed at Albury on a heavy 9. What are your thoughts on Barandana?
I think Gano, me and you might have been watching his horse debut one day at Albury. I could be wrong, but I'm singing his praises. I have done for 2 or 3 years, and every time he runs a good one, he gets me in, and then he puts in a bad one just when I think he's ready to go, and then he catches you like I think at Snake Gully Cup Day last year. He bobbed up and won a real nice race. I love the horse. I think he's going no good. I'll be completely honest. I think he's got problems, and I think he's going no good this prep. And I seen it was a late sort of booking on Riser today of Matty Carl. Matty's been with him the whole way through. I'm surprised that jockey got added in late. I reckon he's got problems, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was the one scratching on the day, but I just can't catch him and I can't have him, but I love the horse and I always have.
I thought he was ticking over okay. I thought his run at Wagga was good when finishing second behind Canny Hell. You just have to forget all about that failure last time out at Albury. It was on a heavy track and he spins his wheels whenever there's a bit of rain about. So with the track drying out leading into Saturday, I think he's one that can certainly run a cheeky race at a price.
Yeah, Barandana are on about $15, I think, and might have SP'd 9, 8s. And spot him about 10 lengths down at Albury that day, Mitch, and flashed home and we backed at the win. There you go. Giddy up. Let's go the 15 Assassin Cheek. Zach Purton. Pat Murphy, Mick.
Yeah, Assassin Cheek. Look, one of the roughies. Pat Murphy does a great job with his team, doesn't he? And look, I haven't got it in the mix. Probably in that sort of second tier of horses that I couldn't quite get into my trifecta ticket. A 6-year-old mare who has won the 4 from 19, very consistent type, but no, not for me.
As I said before, Gatto and Mick, I've got some rules in the country championships. If they come third in their heat, they get the pen job, and that's what she did. She got in by a horse of Danielle Sibes, Cable Express maybe, going amiss. You will not meet a better bloke in country racing New South Wales than Pat Murphy. He bobs up in more places than Mick and I. Loves a beer. He has a really good team, and I'm convinced he does a really, really good job. And they've found Zach Purton. I think Paddy and Zach might have rode against each other when they were apprentices. So, I'd love nothing more to see Paddy win the race, but I can't have her. I've got some rules around it, and she gets the pen job for me. Lightly
enough raced. Interesting. Her ratings continue to work on the upward spiral, and then one that catches my eye, I know knock Louise Day, but Louise Day to Zach Purton.
Yeah.
It's all-time jockey switches.
Yeah, these boys don't want to get suspended this time of year, right? They've got races in Dubai and Hong Kong and the rest of the championships to come. And for Zach to take a ride in, I know this is massive money for the bushies, but it's not massive money for him. So for him to take a ride, where there's smoke, there's fire, but it's not for me.
It just wouldn't surprise to see if there was a horse that was going to be well backed in the market and just like by the bots and, the pros seeing that kind of switch. As I said, no knock Louise Day, but we're talking Zach Purton here. They'll come for this horse. Righto, let's go to we'll go number 4. Canny Hell, Simon Miller, Kim Davison, Mick.
Yeah, got a fantastic record. I've always been a big fan of this fella. He's by Hell Bent. He's won the 5 from 14. Great win, strike rate. I thought it was a cracking effort. The latest run there at Albury, albeit on a heavy track behind Asgard, coming off that big country championships win, defeating Barandana 2 starts back. He's up and going. He's got a soft draw. We know he's got good tactical speed. He'll be right there when the whips are cracking.
Well, Mick said it all in regards to the form of this horse. Kim Davidson, I got to know Kim pretty well. He was stabled up next to Mitch Beer in Albury for a number of years, and he's a cracker of a bloke. But Simon Miller's got to be the story of the race, doesn't he? He's ridden 3 times, I think, in 12 months. He's moved to Brisbane. He rides track work for Matty Hoysted. As I said, he's ridden 2 or 3 times in 12 or 13 months, and he loves this horse. The owners love him. He's a ripper bloke, Simon, and I'm just going to give it a cheer. I'm a little bit undecided about the form. The second to Asgarda in the city handicap in between is good enough, definitely. But I'm just wrapped up in the story. Good on Simon Miller. Good on the ownership group for sticking with him. It takes some guts to do that. So good on him.
Love that. Move to the horse number 6, Tickle Belly, getting around the $26 mark. Pierre aboard for Scott Collins, and a horse that knows how to win, winning 6 of 15. She has, Mitch.
Yeah, and there's 2 horses here. We're about to cross them off. Tickle Belly and Listomania. They just went around in, everything bar the store gift in regards to highways. They just kept going around in them, and they were very consistent performers. Scotty Collins is, it's been well publicised. He's been a bit crook in the last couple of years. So I'm going to say no for her. But I would love nothing more than Scotty Collins, and probably the hardest working jockey from Goulburn to Albury, I reckon, the Frenchman. I would love nothing more for them to win. I think, what is she, $35? And I think that's about a price. Mick, you might want to elaborate more on it.
Yeah, she ticked the 1400 metre box at last start for the first time. Unless you're a top class sprinter, at that sort of listed Group 3 level, I like a horse that can run out a mile in these country championships races. And I just think this might be the top end of her distance range, despite the fact she's oh so consistent. She's another one that's going to be right up at the pointy end early. And it's probably only the last 100 metres where she might feel the pinch.
Beautiful. Number 5, Zariz Tycoon. Craig Williams for Gaynor Williams. I assume there's no relationship there, but there might well be, Mick.
No, I don't believe there's any. I don't think they're related.
Long lost cousins.
I'm pretty sure they might have combined before with a few horses over the journey. He's a ripper. He's by that bread and butter stallion Zariz, a 5-year-old. He's had 8 starts for 6 wins. His win to qualify at Orange was something else. He was never on the track, and he just kept on finding the line and had the audacity to sprint away from them over the concluding stages to defeat Don Stefano and lighten the infantry with a leg in the air. The thing with him, though, is I think he might be one of those horses that doesn't like being smothered away in amongst traffic. So the fact that he was able to just bowl along, build his confidence in that 3-wide position, it probably played into his hands. So gate number 10 might be okay for him.
I love him, boys. I think he's the next, I won't say champion of the Western Districts, but Gallen Star is going to be going to go very close to winning this race on Saturday, and he's going to be out benchmarked in the Central and Western Districts. And I would say he's probably going to end up in Queensland chasing a Stradbroke win. This horse is the next star from Bathurst to Burke. He's won 5 from 7. I don't know where he ends up. He ends up winning this. If he stays sound, he ends up winning this race next year. I'm convinced of it, and he can win it this year. He's not really a roughie. In a race that's $4, $5 a field, he's $15. But I'm in love with him. I can't sing the praises of Gaynor Williams and Frank Williams high enough. He's hard to catch, Craig Williams, but this would not shock me if he won. The wetter, the better. The Zariz's, it's obviously well publicised, but if it does stay in that 6 rain or we get a bit of unexpected rain later in the week, he could start $10 and he could be an upset. Dead set ripper for me.
Speaking of jockey trainer combinations, Nasha Willer, Matthew Dunn, Tribeca Star, they strike around 22%. Mitch, give this horse any chance?
Stole my thunder, Gano.
Sorry, mate.
That's about the chance that I gave it. The Nash Matt Dunn combination. There's probably not a better one in the race, I would say, rather than probably Bullock and Massara. I'm torn with the 2 Matt Dunn runners. I'm going to let Mick elaborate more. I don't like them running bad in between. There's a whisper around town that they weren't at the Gold Coast to win the other day. These 2 horses, I just want to see him run better in between. Mick, I'll let you elaborate on Tribeca Star.
Tribeca Star's a beauty. 20 starts, 5 wins, 10 minor placings. He's got a lethal turn of foot when right. You mentioned the run at the Gold Coast there last time out, the 1400 metres. Copped probably a negative ride, you'd describe it. Was sent out a short price favourite. Never really got into the race, beaten around 4 lengths. But as you say, that was probably a little bit of a tick-over run just to bring him up to his top for this grand final day on Saturday. And we know he's got the class. He's been campaigning against good quality opposition right throughout his career.
Love that. Listomania, Tim Clark, Todd Payne, Mick.
Well, Listomania is a beauty, going so well. Also, a horse that will probably settle back in the second half of the field and would be giving them a head start. There's going to be plenty of tempo here. There always is in these country championships races. It's only won the 3 from 19, but really attacked the line there behind University at Tamworth last start. It's got a good draw, so perhaps he might be able to settle a little bit closer to the speed on Saturday.
Few dot points for me, Gano. Decent barrier, decent jockey. Finished in front of Know Thyself in the Tamworth heat, obviously, and just a very well-performed highway horse. Maybe a tad under the odds for me, but This is a little bit of the Simon Miller story for me. Todd Payne, he hasn't got a massive team, and I fall in love with these stories. Imagine Todd Payne winning a country championships; it'd be unreal. So he's got a few ticks and a consistent horse. He's a place chance for sure.
Beautiful. All right, let's go to Fukabana, a horse that is drawn. It's a pretty average draw. It'd be interesting to see what happens from there. If they're going to be negative, you'd suggest they probably have to. But if you go back earlier to this horse's career, it has some figures. Eagle Farm, Rose Hill. They are 2-year-old figures. They stand out. Then went to Doomben in a 3-year-old handicap. And again at Rose Hill in a Group 2 Hobartville stakes, and was very competitive. Since then, hasn't quite got back there, Mitch, but I think the best version of this horse wins the race. Do we see that on Saturday?
Like I alluded to before, Gano, I'm confused about the two Dunn runners, and I don't want to end up with egg on my face because Matt Dunn is the best trainer in country New South Wales. His figures suggest that. I'm just confused about their form. This is another horse that had a run in between that wasn't great. It draws barrier 16. The positives are they found Blake Shin, but I don't know. This horse was trained by John Stuyvesant and ridden by Andrew Banks. Would it be $7? I don't know. I've got to respect Matt Dunn. I've got to respect Blake Shin. I don't respect the barrier. I don't think the price is right. I think it's got a 7 in front of it at the moment. It could end up being a 1 and a 7 by race day. That's only my opinion, but I just can't line up the Dunn runners, and I've been brutally honest about that.
It's out the door like last week's pay, Mitch. Down around $9.50. You can get $10.20 if you're looking deep. So the bookies and the punters sharing your sentiment, Mick.
Yeah, I think he's under the odds, but he's a serious racehorse. If it was mine, I'd just take the medicine early from the outside gate, go straight back to last and see where he ends up, because we know he's got a touch of quality. He was just out for a look around there at the Gold Coast last time out off a slashing run the start prior at Lismore in the country championships there, finishing at second behind Tribeca Star, was back near last, was weaving between them late. He's going to need a lot of things to fall into place if he's going to win.
Into varsity, Damien Lane, Massara, Gavinrich, well and truly in the market as your third favourite there, Mick.
Yeah, covered ground, winning up there at Tamworth. Really good performance. She's only lightly raced, so she's still on the upward spiral. She's won the 4 from 7, 3 weeks between runs. It's a nice setup, good draw. Damien Lane on board. She ticks plenty of boxes.
Yeah, Mick said it all, Gano. She's a winner. She's 4 from 7. She beat Know Thyself, obviously, in the Tamworth heat, which is the form. 54 kilos, Damien Lane. Barrier 5, Paul and Leah. Yeah. How can you say no? She's got to be a chance.
Know Thyself, Mitch. The Bulldog, Aaron Bullock aboard for the same training conversation. Very well favoured in the market, around $4.
Yeah, I think he's the winner. I think he's the winner. That says a lot for me because I'm obviously got a professional and a personal relationship with Brett Robb. So, I think he's the winner. I want to say something about Paul and Leah. They, Gunnar, you've been out to the sales today. The Easter sales on at the moment. And, people insinuate that they get a bit of head start. But there's bloodstock agents, there's syndicators, there's owners, there's trainers walking around that sale, not just this sale, all the sales. And the so-called experts knock these horses back. And to promote their stallions, Paul and Leah train these horses. So they're getting the scraps that people, that the so-called experts, don't want. And they're showing up as, $8 and $4 favourites in $500,000 races. So pat on the back, especially to Leah. I don't know Leah, but Paul doesn't suffer fools, and she must be a quality person and a hard worker to be offered the role of assistant trainer. We will never, ever again see Aaron Bullock ride 56 kilos. Mark my words on this podcast. I think Aaron's injuries are catching up with him. I think you'll see a lot more conservative Aaron Bullock with his weight in the years to come. This is the last hurrah. He loves his horse. I think he thinks he's a really, really good horse. We will never see him ride 56 again. If we do on Saturday, he might ride 56 and a half. He's the winner for mine, Gano. If it stays in the 6 range, the higher the track rating, the more I favour Know Thyself from Gallant Star. I know Gallant Star is a wet tracker himself, but Know Thyself is more enhanced, obviously. That's my point. He's the winner for me.
I worked that World Cup meeting at Scone when he qualified, winning that northern heat. He was dynamic. He just travelled so sweetly that day. It was just a different horse than the one we saw at Tamworth when resuming there, finishing fifth behind stablemate into Varsity. The ride was too good at Tamworth. Bullock was able to get across from an outside gate, get back on the fence, and I think he almost resented it. He doesn't like being in amongst horses. The other day at Scone, he was just trucking in clear air, and there was never going to be any other result, probably from the 800 metre mark. He was dynamic. I'm sure there's still plenty of meat left on the bone. He's going to be awfully hard to beat.
Love that. Your favourite currently $3.40 between $3.40 $3.20 in the market. There, Mick, Gallant Star, Jason Colletbarrow for the drying conditions, most likely going to suit this horse.
Yeah, look, I think he's a deserved favourite. He's got a massive engine. He's got a great record. I think he's only finished out the places a couple of times. 15 starts, 6 wins, 7 minors. At Canamble, he was ridden like the best horse. I don't think leading's his go. He just ambled to the front and just strolled away to defeat Rouge Moulin and Poison Point. It wasn't the strongest heat. He had panels on them. I think from gate 4, Jason Collett's going to have options. He'll just tuck this fella in behind a few, and he'll be able to utilise that turn of foot he's got late.
Never while we're punting, the three of us, will you see a horse win a race at Canamble and be $20 in a Stradbroke market.
Yeah,
and that's what this horse is. He's the best horse the Western Districts has seen for a decade, maybe longer. Mick, you've been looking at that area a bit longer than I have, but we both go back a little while. He's a ripper. You've said it all. If it gets to a 4, the flip of the coin goes to Gallant Star. If it stays at a 6, the flip of the coin goes to Know Thyself. For me, I'm not a Quinella punter. I could easily have a Quinella and be confident with these two. I think their form is far superior to the rest of them, and I wish Brett Robb especially all the best. I can't sing his praises enough, and I wish Brett Robb and all his team the best, and hopefully they get a result.
beautiful. I've got Gallant Star on top for what it's worth there, fellas. Why don't you give us your top 3 and maybe a way that we can make some money out of the race. Mick, kick us off.
Yeah, I think Gallant Star wins. Obviously wishing Dave Ringland and Kerry O'Keefe all the very best of luck. He's been set for this race a long way out, and I just think he's going to get a lovely smother in behind them, and I think he deserves to get this race on Saturday. I've got Spicer is a Tycoon in for second. I just thought that might inject a little bit of value into the exotics. Know Thyself, I think, picks himself as one of the leading contenders, and I put Tribeca Star in there as well. I think if you're having a trifecta and you're throwing a few in, make sure you include that galloper. But Gallant Star to beat There Is a Tycoon and Know Thyself.
Mitch?
I'm a trifecta punter, Gunno, so I'm going to play Gallant Star and Know Thyself to win. I'm going to throw in Into Varsity and There Is a Tycoon to join them for second, and we'll play Field for third and hope Brett Robb stablemate runs third at 100 to 1, or Sunshine, who I've tipped as the best roughie, and we'll get a drink out of it.
Love that. Beautiful. Well done, lads. There's your comprehensive preview, runner by runner, of the Evergreen Turf Country Championship Final. That is race 5 at Randwick. There are another 9 races on the card. Mick, I know you would have had a deep dive. Mitch, you might have had a little look at a couple of these. Give us something out wide for the punters, and by out wide I mean in the city.
Well, look, as far as the other races on the card go, I do like Rivellino in the size. I think it looks a fantastic chance. We all saw the run last start there in the slipper, just charged the line late. You'd think 1,400 metres looks ideal, and I'm heavily invested in Firestorm in the Doncaster. I've been knocking it off at long prices all the way in. The draw looks good. I think it's got the hoof right on the till, and I think looks a great chance.
Beautiful. Mitch?
If Smith Falcon starts in the Carbine Club and doesn't get a run in the Donny, you can look for a mortgage broker and refinance your house and have the lot on it. It'll be winning. Take the even money now. It's a moral. I wanted to back it in the Doncaster, and it's probably not going to get a run. Gano, excuse my pronunciation. Moira.
Moira.
Moira in the
Like your
Doncaster.
auntie.
Oh, yeah, Auntie Moira. Bad barrier isn't going to help, but she may well just be, and this says a lot considering Via Festina, but she may well just be the best filly or mare that Yulong have ever brought to this country. The Breeders' Cup or Breeders' Plate or whatever it's called in America, the race that she won last start before coming over here, it's a serious race. $16, barrier 21, Zach Burton, have something on her. And on Saturday, Gano, just to get back to our roots, the time-honoured Tommingly Cup is on, and the Louth Cup winner, Kalpana, is third up. So if anyone's heading west for a drink and getting out of the city, Connie Gregg, Kalpana will win the Tommingly Cup on Saturday.
Beautiful. I can't wait for TJ Smith. I think Brias will probably start closer to $5, and I think he wins the race. He is a very, very good horse. Say what you want about what happened last start. It was a perfect platform building run for Randwick 1,200 metres. He'll be closer to the speed this time around, and he'll stamp himself as the best sprinter in the country, whilst, well, one of the potential best sprinters in the country is chewing on grass. So not much you can say about that. You lose your title if you don't turn up, as far as I'm concerned. Lads, it's been a pleasure. Thanks very much for your time on a busy Wednesday afternoon and evening. Mick, we can catch all your stuff on Sky Racing. When do we see you next?
I'm heading to Wyong tomorrow, looking forward to that. And of course, we're all looking forward to Saturday, where Gallant Star will stamp himself as the best country trained horse. #West is best.
Love that. Mitch Lloyd, Patriot Bloodstock, thank you. Where do we get your stuff? patriotbloodstock.com.au. Is that where any of the listeners can get involved?
Yep. The Pat O'Shea during the week in Brisbane was won by a horse by Anders. We've got a very cheap Anders colt on our website. I'm not on here to sell horses. I couldn't give two hoots if you come on board or not, but thanks for the shout out, Gano. We had the Royal Gundagai on Sunday with a few runners. I think you're not the boss, Gano. You would probably have done the form as much as I have. He'll be hard to beat first up at Gundagai for Patriot and the Master Mitchell.
Don't jinx him. If he even hears of this, he'll lose it. Can't be tipping his horses. Righto, boys. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Gano.